already there.
Yeah,
Oh my
we're
gosh, we're like an hour early. Are you kidding me?
We're kicking ass tonight.
This is like, yeah.
Good job.
Oh, baby.
On a roll.
Okay.
Keep
Hey.
going.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
All right, here we go. Well, hard to say how long this will take. So, could be quick. Okay, Elaine.
All right,
Wanna
so
try it?
as of this morning, our work with our insurance company paid off. Luann and I had a conversation with them, and we just really nailed them down. What are you going to cover and what not? They agreed to cover all of our costs incurred to date as damages, and agreed to pay half of what is termed as the Tier 1 solution, which is the pipe to the detention pond. Our costs to date are $25,000, so we're right at the top of our budget.
Should we be reimbursed for the 25?
We will be reimbursed for the 25. Okay? Now, the original estimate on the Tier 1 solution, this was from about a week and a half ago, was around $7,000 plus engineering costs to a total of about $12K. So our insurance company approved paying $6,000. Okay? I spoke with Michael Saltman this evening. It was about 5:30, so it was too late to call Endurus back. He received bids by the end of the day today, unfortunately in the range of between $27,000 to $32,000. So the school district's position is that we pay half, and I will forward this information to our insurance company tomorrow, but I'm pretty confident based on our conversation today that they'll buck up to the 16K. Okay, so they're covering 25, and I think we can safely assume that they're going to pay 16,000. Half of the Tier 1.
So what's the $32,000 cover?
Just option 1, is that
So,
correct?
Yeah,
engineering?
there are engineering costs. I sent you guys the breakout, and you probably don't remember. I too don't remember all the details, but there's an engineering section, and then there's
Okay, net cost to us is 0.
net cost to us is 0.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
is it-
Well, no,
pardon?
that's not the case, because again, we have ongoing monitoring, ongoing expenses here, and option 1 is more expensive monitoring and work than option 3 is. So again, in other words, the school district is deferring, in other words, is basically putting all the onus on us going forward.
That is
So
true.
there is a net expense to us.
There is true. Going for so, and I will get to
Well,
that.
what's the onus going forward?
Well, again, there is, in other words, there's testing and other monitoring, and there are 2 things. It's a more intense, in other words, requirements. I mean, there's more intense requirements to make sure that we're not having effluent get into the pond or whatever else here. Plus the fact that if this option 1 isn't effective, and it's not assured to be effective involved here, then option 2 or 3 falls entirely on the park district.
We didn't sign that
But-
document.
Well, again, in other words, this is, in other words, I understand this is what the offer is on the table here. They'll pay for half, but the bottom line is they're walking away.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So there's more.
The school district.
There's
That's what they've offered. They offered to pay, in exchange for paying for half, they've offered, the bottom line is we're on the hook for everything else going forward. That's the offer. Is that not correct?
That is true. So
But we didn't sign that off.
Well, no. I know this, but
So
I'm
this is just
saying-
part of the solution.
Right.
Is that our insurance company, for what the school district offered, our insurance company will pay for Tier 1, the Tier 1
But did the
solution.
Endurus say they wouldn't pay for Plan 2?
yes. So
Yes,
if
they
I
did.
can I.
So let Elaine
I'm sorry.
finish.
Okay,
Let me
that's fine.
finish my
Go ahead.
presentation.
Okay, please.
So I refer to this as Tier 1 because it is the first solution presented and approved by the Department of Ecology that will come with significant testing and condition management going forward. So yes, there are additional costs. Endurus will pay for just the fix. There will be ongoing costs going forward. We don't know what those will be. So DOE is concerned about water reaching the wetlands. So they will be looking at quantity, infiltration rates, and overflow. We'll have to monitor those things as we go along. They're also looking at water quality issues. If the testing does not meet DOE's satisfaction, the Tier 2 solution is to implement, in addition to the first one, implement what's called a surge tank, and this too will require more testing. If that does not meet DOE's satisfaction, the Tier 3 solution will require putting in the infiltration tank. The surge tank, Tier 2, will cost an additional $15,000. The infiltration tank will cost an additional $42,000. Endurance will not pay for Tier 2 or Tier 3.
And let me understand, Tier 2 would be implemented and then Tier 3, so there would be 15,000, and then plus, if we have to go to Tier 3, then it's 42,000 on top of the 15.
57,000.
That is true.
And the park district would be responsible for the entire incremental.
That is
Based on the office.
Yeah, and there are some conditions I'll read in a moment, because the school district was very explicit about what they want added in as an addendum to our lease. So I'll talk about that in just a second. So I spoke with Eric Gill today, the construction manager, about his level of confidence in the Tier 1 solution's success. On a scale of 1 to 10, his confidence level is about a 7.5. So, pretty high. Now, if Tier 1 fails, or if we choose not to do any of this at all, Scott Bonney has been working on, the reason why our costs right now are $25,000 is because he's had to continue the backwashes in order to get the pool clean enough to where if we do Tier 1 will only take one backwash at a time. So our water has to be clean going into it, generally speaking. So we can choose not to do Tier 1, or if Tier 1 fails, we can always go back to the hauling the water off-site. That would cost us, through the end of the summer, about $7,500. That would not be covered by Endurance either.
So if Plan A fails, the fallback number is $7,000.
Right.
So why would you do Plan B or C ever,
True.
right?
Yep, I'm just providing the
No,
Wait,
information.
$7,000 this year.
Yeah,
No, but what would it be next year? 7,000 per year?
no.
No,
Absolutely
then it's
not.
fixed. If it works, it fixed. Now, we would have to continue doing several things. So in September, and this is in the cash flow, in order to keep the pool clean, we're going to have to put a cover on it.
Sure, that's the
8,000.
training, yeah,
We're going to have to continue chemical maintenance
yeah.
and pay Scott Bonney to do it. So that's about another $4,000. Going forward, it should be about $4,000 a year, additional.
For this ongoing maintenance,
For the ongoing
off-season,
maintenance.
the off-season.
Off-season.
And this is Tier 1 you're talking about.
Well, no, this is just on.
This is
yes,
either
Tier 1.
way.
Either way.
even-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Probably regardless of Tier 1, or if we escalate to Tier 2 and 3.
But the main thing to add, to get back to Bill's statement here, the big expense is preparing the pool. And it's big, major backwashes, which Scott has already gone through here.
Correct.
So basically, even though the pool cover and other things should reduce that need,
Considerably.
we're still talking, this year it was basically 25,000 plus 7,500, so $32,000 total. So maybe it's, I don't know, let's say reduce this by half, we're talking like $16,000 ongoing additional expense to run that situation. That's as opposed to.
It's
go ahead.
unknown. I mean, we don't know.
Right.
So we know the cover is a one-time cost.
Right.
Okay, so that's done. So going into next year, we don't know how much sediment, et cetera, is going to be protected by the pool cover. We don't know that yet. So some
Right.
of this is kind of unknown. It's like throwing darts. I
Right.
don't know how much it's going to cost. We're not going to. I doubt it would be the $25,000. All of these backwashes that we've done so far is because the pool has been open and there's been a lot of sediment in it, right? So it's likely not going to be that. But will it be an increased expense? Likely, yes.
I have a
So,
question. How soon will we know whether this Tier 1 is going to be effective or not? I mean, is that 2 weeks, a year?
It could be, likely it will be all summer. I asked that question of Eric Gill today. He said that if there is an obvious amount of extra water and it's not working, that should show up in about 30 to 60 days.
Okay.
But he said likely it will go through the summer.
So we'd make it through the summer before we would know.
Right.
Hopefully.
So
But,
what
but then we'd already be in it. I mean, again, if we do it, we would have done it, we will have already agreed, that's what's on the table as far as what's happened. And if it doesn't work, then we're on the hook
Then
for
we,
tier 2.
well,
and
we
one.
make the
Agreed.
decision to either go to tier 2,
Right.
or perhaps we make the decision to just do the backwashing, as we did this last year, know how to pool cover, et cetera. So that's always an option, to just go
So-
back to the hauling.
So that's my question.
Mhm.
If tier 1 fails, and we refuse to go along with any of the school district stuff, for tier 2, 3, or 4, what would it cost to run the pool without tier 1?
Well, we don't know.
Well, that would be my question.
Well,
Why
how
would
do
I
you know that?
commit to 50, 100,000 if we're talking 5,000 a year?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Weren't those tanks so full of sediment because they hadn't been pumped?
Correct.
As long as we owned them.
Yes.
And we don't know when the county pumped them
Supposedly,
last either.
from what I understand, the county pumped them right before we got them,
Oh,
so
did they?
2010 was when they were
That
pumped,
was 3 years.
and then we
of
pumped them, that was 3 years worth of
sediment
sediment.
without a cover.
Yeah, that I covered. One of the things that you guys might want to think about, I know that they're planning on putting the water from the pool into their drainage, not the drainage ditch, but the retention pond right next door. Where does typically those retention ponds, and just like we did at VES, all have the drainage is all in the parking lots. So it's supposed to work where the water comes into the drainage, goes into the retention pond, it works as a filter, and then lets the water out to where it discharges. When they test the water coming in, how are they going to specify what water we put in compared to what's come in from the parking lot? What happens if they find, that the water is coming in dirty? Who's responsible for that then? So we got some things that we've got to worry about as well, signing all these addendums and going with this. If we go that route, from what I understand, we're going to be responsible for the maintenance of that retention pond now. Is that the case? I mean,
No.
What
how
kind
does
of
that
maintenance
work
is
out?
involved in the
Well,
What are the
typical,
addendums
like
are?
what we do in ours is, we have to keep the grass in there a certain level so that it allows the water to flow through but catches all your solids, oil and antifreeze, whatever potential that comes from cars. How do they differentiate from?
So here's the thing.
And why would
Water
we,
to-
why would we take care of the retention pond if they also have, they'd be using it from,
Because technically
previously?
We're using it May, June, July, and August,
Yeah.
So if we do
4
nothing,
months.
they got to maintain their ponds anyway, don't they?
I would think so.
Am I right, Jason?
Yeah, that's.
They're already there.
That's typically what you do.
So we're not adding any cost to the school district. They have to do it anyway. So I wouldn't be,
Nowhere in that agreement does it talk about taking care of the retention pond.
Well-
The only thing that agreement talks about is to make sure that nothing from the pool ends up contaminating the wetlands going through that.
Yeah,
But
but you-
nowhere in that agreement from the schools.
how are they
does-
going to prove who contaminated it?
Either chlorine or it's gas.
Is it
Yeah,
just
it-
chlorine? Is
I
there
think
no
that's the
chlorine
main
used
thing.
at the school for anything?
Probably not in
Drinking
the parking
water,
lot.
nothing?
Not in the parking
Probably
lot.
the parking lot water,
It's
yeah.
Oh, okay.
typically drainage from the parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oil, gas.
Gas,
Right.
oil,
Right.
antifreeze,
But
that
different.
kind of thing. So I guess we have to
Very
be very careful about what type of testing is being done. Are they just testing for chlorine? Are they testing the pollutions in the water?
And it may not just be chlorine, because we'll be using other chemicals in the pool to dissipate, sediment.
So let me read another piece to this. Before moving forward at all, even with the Tier 1 solution, the school district is requiring that we write in the following points into an addendum to the lease. There are 4 points. The school district's, number 1, the school district's cost share shall not exceed 50% of a maximum total cost of $40,000. So I asked Michael about this today. He said, so what that means is that, so we're not at the 40,000. It would be 32,000 max. So it would be 16 and 16. So that point is saved. Number 2, the school district will not pay any portion of the water hauling charges incurred by the park district. We kind of know that. And our insurance company will, for the ones that we have incurred so far. The Park District will meet all of the DOE compliance requirements to operate the drainage system and be responsible for any related costs. And number 4, any costs of solutions required beyond Tier 1 shall be the sole responsibility of the Park District. In such a case, the school district retains the authority to approve and construct such solutions at the lessee's expense.
What if we say no to all of them?
Well, we
There's no
can,
addendum.
yeah, this is they're presenting this, so, I don't know if they're open to negotiation or not, but we can certainly toss it back over the fence with our own perspective.
Everything is open to negotiation.
That's right,
They can say, we'd like to see this, and we have every right to say no.
that's right.
The only thing I could agree to is the DOE part. Everything else, I wouldn't agree to. Why do they get to cut their losses? They caused the problem.
Well, not only did they cause the problem, but they're creating the solution, and then if their solution doesn't work, they want us to pay for the Tier 2 and Tier 3 solutions. That, to me, that's like the fox in the hen house, you know? It's like they're all, you know, in one thing without any, and I'm not saying, I don't mean to say negatively, I'm just saying, it's like they're all, you know, they own all the
Well,
pieces.
I agree to
but
the
we gotta
first
pay
year
for it.
plan of where we end up paying nothing. And I don't agree to anything in the future. If somehow in the future something comes up, it's an open question then.
Well,
Madam Chair?
Elaine, one question, okay.
I just wondered if I could at least explain where we're coming from.
Oh, sure, Laura. Yeah, so Laura Wishick is
I'm on the school board.
on
I
the-
used to be on the park board.
So you get it.
Context here. King County says we want to get out of the pool business, right? That's in 2010. And the school district said, we're not getting into the pool business. It's not our deal. We're an educational facility. We can't use the pool during the school year because it doesn't have a roof over it. We're not going to operate the pool. Park District says it's a great community asset. We agree. Park District says we'll operate the pool. So the context here is not your typical landlord-tenant. It's not your typical, you know, you're doing us a service. It's we have a facility that we don't need and we will never operate. You have the ability to operate it. So that was the kind of genesis of that deal. That lease, which I wrote, you can blame me, was very different than your normal lease. A normal lease says landlord takes care of all of the externals, right? Takes care of, you know, makes sure that the foundation doesn't fail or whatever, takes care of the externals. This lease does not say that. Because the only way I could convince my colleagues on the school board to accept keeping the pool instead of telling King County to fill the hole with concrete, which is what some of my colleagues wanted to do. The only way I could get them to accept keeping the pool as a pool was if the school district had no future costs. So that lease does not say that the school district takes on those externals. Now, nobody will disagree that there was a mistake in many ways made at the point where the new construction came in. There's no point in us pointing fingers at each other. This lease said you guys were responsible for maintaining the utilities. We said, where does the water go? It doesn't really matter who said what to whom. Where we are right now is the school district already paid during our construction $30,000 so your toilets would still flush at the pool and the showers would still operate. We paid $30,000 to make that possible. We thought and you thought that the rest of the water went somewhere where none of us had to worry about it, and we were all wrong. Where the school board is today, my colleagues on the school board, the majority of them don't want to put a dime into this pool. They understand it's a community asset. My son used to be a swimmer. I get it. But the majority of my colleagues feel that our mission is solely educational, not recreational. And they don't want to put a dime into the pool. So the offer that you have on the table in front of you is a major compromise. From the perspective of my colleagues, it's a major compromise because we're putting some real money into keeping that pool going. But the only way a majority of the school board will put that money down is if they know it's the end. We are not putting more down in the future. Take it or leave it. It's up to them and you.
Okay, so take it or leave it, that's pretty neighborly, but try this, Laura. What would be the problem of everybody working for solution one and leave it at that? And if solution one fails, then we have a new discussion.
Here's the problem. The school board, the majority of the school board is not willing to even have the prospect of having to pay more for solution 2 or 3.
No, but I don't want to have the prospect of being forced to pay for something.
You wouldn't be forced. You can always walk away from the pool. The community would no longer have it. I mean, that's the dilemma that we face. Okay.
So what would be the problem of just agreeing to solution one and leaving it at that for now?
Because if solution 1 fails,
Then we got a new discussion.
the school district will not. The school district does not want you to have any misunderstanding about this. The school district will not pay for anything beyond solution 1.
Yeah,
So
but
why not
I want to make sure from the
understand
other
that
side that we are not committed to doing anything beyond Plan 1.
You're not committed, you can always walk away.
That's right.
And then we will have a
So
hole
then we
in the
don't need
ground
those
that we have
clauses
to
in
fill.
there.
No, you already have the right to walk away. It says
No,
it
no,
in
no,
the lease.
we don't need the clauses where we agree to pay for 2 and 3.
I'm telling you, 3 members of my school board will not sign it, will not pay for it unless they have that in writing, because it should have been clear from the beginning. We thought it was clear from the beginning, and they want it clear now.
But what I'm hearing here is the clause isn't saying that we're agreeing to pay for 2 and 3. We're agreeing that the school district doesn't have to pay for 2 and 3. So there is a difference here. So yeah.
And your colleagues have told me that they don't see the value of having a community pool on the island. It's just not part of what.
Is a relevant point out there. There are school districts that do operate.
Oh, Bainbridge has
This
that
is
integrated
somewhat
into their
exceptional
curriculum.
situation.
Yeah,
Because it
and
does
we have
never work.
sent elementary students in the splash. What is that?
That was
that
3
that
years ago.
your husband did.
Yeah, but there have been a number of
Make a
schools that
splash.
shut down their own pool.
We sent 5th graders over during the school year to the pool to take lessons during the make a splash, providing free
Yeah, but-
lessons. So I mean the school district has.
also have an end of the year pool party in Chautauqua.
Oh yeah. The school district does use the.
Okay, so, but here's what's in front of us. It's not whether swimming is valuable or whether it's a school district or something. I hear the school district saying they're not going to spend a dime past Plan 1. I can appreciate that. But I'm not going to sign anything that says we agree to Plan 2 or 3. As Laura pointed out, if it comes to that, then we have to decide whether we're going to walk or not. Okay?
Well,
I mean, that's a valid thing.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying I'm agreeing, I would agree, we got a solution for Plan 1 and we're okay this year.
But I think the plan, the Tier 2 and Tier 3 discussion is really more about whether the community wants a pool, and if they do, if the school district has any, support for that or not.
Yeah,
And-
but I'm saying, it's a future argument that we don't need to solve this year.
Well, however, I think the part that we're taking on then is that in spite of what we knew prior to this problem happening, that we had we had a solution to the pool drainage, and now we're taking on additional expense to $4,000 a year for a solution, And then with the potential that we might not have a pool later, and all of this wouldn't have come about except that the school district chose to create.
They didn't, okay, for one thing, they didn't choose to chop it off.
Yes, they did.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
I understand that.
And $4,000 is
They
a
had a-
reasonable amount of money.
It's $4,000 plus, Bill.
Hmm?
It's $4,000 plus, because again, that's, in other words, we have Scott's cost and
No,
chemicals.
I'm not talking about that 4,000. I'm saying if Plan 1 works,
Yeah,
each year we're gonna have about a $4,000 expense for monitoring.
And it might be more. Scott is quite cheap, so if Scott,
No,
It's
all I'm
no
saying,
longer
that's what we're looking at
we
right
might
now.
have $6,000 cost.
So all we have to do is solve this year and see if it works. We might be talking about something that doesn't need to be talked about. Plan 1 works and it costs us $4,000 a year, we're okay.
okay, no, but again, the $4,000 number is for his work to do the chemicals and to maintain the pool. See, there's certain things that have to be done throughout the period, but that's not the monitoring. The monitoring expenses are additional expenses.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's a good
beyond,
point.
So-
beyond the
Yeah.
$4,000.
What was
So
the
we need to
monitoring
get
here,
everything.
how much?
Well, the DOE testing, we don't know how much that's gonna cost.
So we got an unknown, is what she said.
We got people on.
Might be cheaper.
But, and I hear the crowd wants to talk, so let the commissioners talk, and then we will give you a chance, which is unusual in public meetings that we give the audience a chance to
Okay,
talk. But what I'm concerned about is if we leave the tier 2 and tier 3 solutions for the future, consider that we're taking the focus off of how we got there, and that, you know, that we're taking on the solution, we're taking on any additional solution to a problem that we didn't cause to happen, meaning
Okay,
that the school districts.
In a pragmatic tone, we don't need to cause a confrontation about an unknown. We just don't need to commit to it. We have it within our realm and our finances, both groups, to open the pool this year with the possible solution. We don't need to speculate into the future and delay the opening of this year.
Oh, I would totally
You see
agree.
what I'm saying?
Regardless, we can open and
Yeah.
continue this year.
So we can open the pool and not sign that document.
That's right.
We can agree to Plan 1. We can agree to turn it over to the insurance company and come up with a net zero. And we can open the pool this year. Any debate about 2 and 3, you don't need that debate until the Plan 1 fails. Okay? That's what I'm saying. You don't need to solve the future if you don't know the future.
Just so I'm sure about this though, when are we going to know if the Plan 1 fails? I mean, are we going to know in
By the end of the
mid-July?
summer. By the end of the summer.
It's not going to be until the end of the summer?
30 to 60 days,
It-
so middle to end of the
Nobody
summer.
knows. It likely, if anything goes haywire, that should show up 30 to 60 days. Hopefully, we'll be testing it throughout the summer, and we'll know by the end of the summer.
But there's a
Hopefully.
chance then that we could have to close the pool midsummer.
Well, no, the fallback would be that we can, rather than going to tier 2,
Okay,
we
got it,
can,
yeah.
we can pump the tanks and haul the water off
Right.
as we've been doing, and that would be
Okay.
about an additional 7,000, 7,500.
So
So there is an
To finish the
alternative.
season.
Right. Okay.
Well, let me ask Laura a question. Is it possible we can all do Plan 1 without signing that document?
You would have to have a new school board meeting, and my gut feeling is that a majority of my colleagues would not agree without it being very clear in writing that the school district will not pay more. That's my gut feeling. I won't know until that
I
vote is
mean, I don't know why
taken.
that,
No, I mean, you can state, this is it, okay? You can state, this is it, without saying you gotta do the future costs. Can you draw up a document that says Plan 1 is it, that's as far as we'll go?
That's what we're
That's what
proposing.
That's what
That's
it
good.
says.
Yeah.
No, but they talk about 2 and 3.
No, we didn't.
No,
Let me be clear. Let me be very clear. The proposal from the school district is to simply say the school district will not pay for anything beyond tier 1,
Period.
period.
Okay.
So you still have the option to walk if you have a choice between paying more or walking. You will always have that option. But the school district will not pay more. That's what we're proposing.
Is that what you heard, Ned?
Yes.
So they come from.
Pretty clear to me.
Well, yeah, I'm not, yeah. So, yeah, okay, you, let's see, yeah. Oh, you're together, okay, so together, yeah.
So when someone said that they didn't find a point in seeing community pool, well, both swim teams use that pool for practicing all through the summer, and it's the only place where we can have dive practice. We both use the Vashon Athletic Club pool, which is 20 yards, which isn't the full-size pool. So the outdoor pool is 25 yards. So so we use it in the mornings, and it's the only place we can practice.
And I've seen kids spend hours at that pool. Yeah. I'll go and I'll see a little kid there, and I'll spend 4 hours there, and that little kid will still be there when I leave.
Yeah, like
with
even
their family, and then they go get ice cream if they have ice cream or whatever, and then they're just having a blast the whole time.
And like my house is really hot in the summer, so we go to the pool. Like even though my brother and I have just spent the whole morning at the pool, we still go there again in the afternoon, and we spend the whole day.
So I have a question about yeah, that was great. So you were talking about this tan for the skate park. Is there a possibility that you can get one of those loans for the pool next year and really fix it?
No, what the TAN is a note to help us for cash flow. So the only reason the TAN is written to the skate park is because right now we're going to be at a low point and we don't have any money to, we usually.
And you will have it later on.
It's like a line of credit.
Yes, it's a timing issue.
A line of credit.
It is, yeah.
Payday loan.
There you go, yeah. That's good, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're over there.
I want him to go first because you can't see him.
Oh, okay.
Actually, my question is for Laura. Laura, I heard you say a couple of times the park district can simply walk away from the pool and not be responsible for any more costs. Are you officially releasing them from the end of lease obligations?
No, of course not.
So they'd still have to fill in the pool and cap it off. I don't know if they know that. Yeah.
So we would be paying, you're saying that we would be
Yeah,
paying?
walking away from the pool is going to be a $40,000 or $50,000 operation.
Is expensive.
Okay, my question, part of it is to Elaine, this infiltration tank. Is that a permanent fix for sure?
Yes.
That you said is approximately 42,000? And I believe I heard something about the school board will pay up to 40,000 for a fix?
Half of 40,000.
Half of 40.
Half.
If this is an absolute fix, I don't know why we're not looking at this instead of hemming and hawing and going back and forth. I don't know why the school district wouldn't agree to do half of that anyway. Can I finish, please? Wouldn't agree to do half of that anyway. And again, it just sort of makes no sense not to do the fix right the first time.
It would take considerably more time as well, so, the notion of getting the pool open on time drives some of the
Do you
decision.
have all that information, how much more time? What?
Right, but what I'm hearing here, or if we could open without doing any fix and spend $7,500.
That's true.
And we open it to do $7,500, and then instead of, so she's got a good point here in the fact that you don't have to do number one if you just do 2 and 3. So that would be $57,000. So half of that would be 28,000 change or whatever else here, which would only be an $8,000 increase to what the school district was willing to pay, which was $20,000. And we could do that after the season. We could do that after the season. And so, and therefore, talking to Scott Clowney, he says he thinks he can open on the 7th if we, as opposed to the 14th, if we don't do the fix. And so that's a possibility there.
Your insurance company said they would only pay for half of tier 1.
However, I'm thinking that we go to the insurance company and say, in other words, you're willing to pay half of tier 1 and that's $16,000. I don't think the insurance company cares whether they pay for what it's called or whatever else. The cost of tier 1 is $32,000. They've agreed to pay for half of that number here. So we can move that $16,000 over to the that. So we'd be on the hook for $12,500 to get a permanent fix. That would be a better situation possibly.
But do we have, is
And the pool opens quick.
is tier 1, we have to do tier 1 in order to get to tier 2?
No, we don't.
Because I thought,
I've talked to Eric Gill. Tier
Yeah.
Tier 1, in which we could skip tier 1 and go to 2 and 3 and eliminate that expense. And also then eliminate the liability of $57,000 on the other end.
But we don't know if we need tier 2 or 3.
However, but we eliminate uncertainty, Bill, and additional expense. We do know that tier 1 has higher unknown but higher ongoing expense. In other words, that's a definite. Eric Gill confirmed that. So it will cost us forever, in perpetuity, more to do tier 1 than it will tier 2 and 3.
Okay, so let me try to. If we choose to do nothing and operate the pool this year, what would that cost us? 0?
$7,500.
Well, and 7,500 initially, but if we want to keep it clean and lower those backwash
Okay,
costs,
so here's the thing.
we'll also need 12K in the fall for the cover, et cetera.
We're not going to sit here and agree tonight on any agreement with the school board. However long that takes us to come to some reality, there is no pool. If we have it within our means to have the pool this year and only cost us $7,000,
7,500.
huh? 7,500.
Yeah.
Then we have the luxury of the fall and winter to discuss this. I don't want to be back into something now because there's some kids here and I feel that we've got to get the pool open and I don't want any form of blackmail. I propose that we spend $7,500, open the pool this year, and discuss tier 1, 2, or 3 in the fall at our leisure. It's a very pragmatic approach. The pool's open, the kids are happy. It's $7,500.
You making a motion?
Huh?
Are you making a motion?
I'll make a motion that we do nothing with the plans, but we spend the money that we need to open this year and get the insurance money. And we defer any talk of 1, 2, or 3 in the school district till the fall.
No, what do you mean get the insurance money?
It's
Because the insurance fund funding
The
won't.
25.
Huh?
Oh, for the previous stuff we've already spent.
Right.
Okay?
Okay,
I second.
okay, okay, we have a motion on the table. Discussion, yes?
I think at least me and my friends and maybe even the Vashon Seals would like to help, like doing fundraisers to help pay for tier 1 or tier 2 or whatever you guys do.
Or just pumping the pool to
Yeah.
$7,500.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
I heard, my only question was, I heard Laura say that the school district is not going to want to discuss this again. It's a take it or leave it.
No, but we're not asking the school district to pay anything more than they offered. We're just saying we'll talk about it later. Let's get the pool open now. Can you sell that?
Yeah, I think I probably can. Let me rephrase it so I'm sure I'm clear. So basically what you're saying is, you're not asking the school district for any money right now.
Correct.
You're going to take care of opening the pool, you're going to take care of hauling the water during the summer.
And we're going to turn it into the insurance company.
Yeah, that's between you and your insurance company.
Sure, yeah.
And as between the park district and the school district, there would be discussions over the summer about what tier makes the most sense. Am I getting it right?
Or
That's-
over
Yeah.
the fall. I mean, we
Well-
wouldn't be.
Well, you gotta, if you want to
Later this
implement
year.
in the fall, you gotta talk
So we
with
need to
us.
have to
Yeah.
work
Yes.
before.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we have to have
Problem.
this, yeah.
Right.
Let's, Endurance said they'd pay for half of one.
Well, remember, let me just restate this, the discussion this morning was based on the original estimate cost, which
Right.
was 12,000, and half of that they agreed to $6,000. So I do have a note here to follow up with Endurance tomorrow about the new bids or anything over and above the 6,000. So I need to confirm that first.
Okay.
Hillary?
So, now that the insurance company is willing to pay half of, well, at least the pumping and half of phase one, old phase one numbers, I got all that. Is the park district pulling out of suing the school district, or are they still leaving that on the table?
That was never
No,
discussed.
it's the insurance company.
Insurance company,
The
whatever.
insurance company was talking about it.
The insurance company is not interested in doing that.
Okay, that's good. So, Bill, I want you to know that I agreed with you more than 50% of the time on this discussion. This is noteworthy.
Come around,
No,
Hillary. Pretty soon it'll be 100%.
no, I mean, not with your final conclusion. I really thought that
Okay,
you
so
were,
Madam
you
Chair,
know.
we got another matter here.
Dan? Oh, well, hang on, I was
I
trying to
just
go.
wanted to finish my questions from
Sure.
before. I was curious to know, you said that the option 3, tier 3, takes more time, and I was wondering if you had any information as far as what that actually
4 to
would
5
take
weeks.
4 or 5 weeks?
4 to
to...
5 weeks, that's what Eric Hill told me.
Okay.
For tier 3,
Just for 2 and 3, yeah.
Personally, it just seems to me like if you're gonna fix it, you might as well just do it right so it never comes up again. And possibly the school district would be willing to go in for half of that personally, I think, since they're culpable. And again, I think your community ought to start going to your school board meetings and letting them know
Amen.
that that's how they feel.
Wasn't,
Next time they come around asking for $500,000.
a couple
Everything
things.
else.
A couple things is, the first thing is tier 3, where would tier 3 be? Would it be on, in the parking area, or would it still be on, I know the school owns all the property, but you have a lease of a certain area there. Where would tier 3 be?
He didn't tell me, I don't
Okay.
I
know.
don't
Hopefully it
know,
would
Lord,
be
do you
it.
know any of this?
Okay,
detail?
second thing is there's a possibility, I'm not 100% sure, maybe you can ask DOE if you can use the old drain field as the infiltration trench.
I tried that already. It's
It
not
is-
there, the old drain field had
It's
been,
still there.
it's been failing, but the new drain field is on top of the old drain field, so there isn't an old drain field.
No, it's
there.
not.
Okay, so Eric has spent, I just want to answer the
That's still a
question.
future, okay?
He spent many hours talking to DOE. The only possible routes DOE will approve are the 3 that'll lay out. That's it.
So let's move on with the question at hand, because that's all future talk.
Right, but, so we have a,
Motion, but one of these gentlemen will have to make a movement that we suspend the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so, okay, but,
I
okay.
moved to suspend the rules.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Seconded, Doug? Okay.
Well, actually, Joe just seconded.
Okay.
I'm a-
So we're suspending the rules that,
Get a
say that
vote
we
on it.
have to wait until
That's
the
right.
next meeting to vote.
That's right.
Okay, so all in favor of suspending the meetings on this, on the upcoming motion, on Bill's
We
motion?
did it.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
so, all in favor of suspending the rules? Okay, all opposed? No. Okay, so,
Now we vote on the motion.
so can we read the motion?
Yes. The motion is from Bill that we do nothing with the proposed plans, but that we spend the money to open this year and discuss options in the fall, and that was seconded by Scott.
So, I would be more explicit that we not act on the school district, proposal.
Okay. Is that like an amendment, or?
Well, that doesn't have to be part of it. We
Well,
just
that-
don't do it.
Well, but, I mean, if you read these minutes like, a year from now, then I think it's pretty vague about what we're referring to and so I think it's fair to be explicit in the motion so that we know what the.
We call it the school district's 4-point addendum to the lease.
No, I like the motion just very clear, is we will do what we need to do to open the pool this summer without making any commitments to anything else.
To not making any commitments to the school district.
Okay. That's all.
So we'll take it on ourselves to open.
For this year.
For this year.
Yes.
Okay, and your motion is only for this year?
Well, that's what it is, it's to get us, it's just only for this year.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so, can you read the motion again?
Yes. The motion from Bill is that we do nothing now with the proposed plans, but we spend the money to open the pool this year, and we can discuss the options in the fall.
That's it.
Okay, the options, yeah, see, none of that's real specific.
How about for the pool fix? How about for the pool fix?
Yeah.
Options for the
Yeah,
pool
I
fix.
mean, all that has, I
I'm just
mean,
throwing it to you.
the motion has to stand alone, it can't be referring to the discussion we just had.
The options for a permanent solution, how about that?
A permanent solution.
The options for a permanent solution.
For the pool.
Will you agree for that?
Mention the word pool.
Yeah, there you go. Permanent solution for the pool. Is that good enough for you, Bill? Okay, why don't you do that? There you go.
So, I mean,
Okay.
we're wordsmithing it, but I think it's important that the motion can stand on its own. So can you read it again?
Yes. The motion is that we do nothing with the proposed plans for the pool now, but we spend the money to open the pool this year and discuss permanent options in the fall.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to discuss them now and be ready in the fall.
Okay.
Well, let's just make sure we get the right thing. Okay. All right. So,
Anybody have anything to say about it?
Right. Any additional discussion? We have the motion on the table. We've had discussion about it. Let's vote. All in favor of Bill's motion? Okay. Anonymous. Unanimous. Anonymous. Okay. We're good. So we're done with the pool discussion.
For now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Until next
That's what counts.
Caesar signs.
You're not doing anything?
No.
Open on the 7th.
He said he could open on the
It'll
7th.
open as quick as we can get it, and you're good for this year.
Yeah.
No guarantees beyond that.
Well, we don't know.
I think it's very likely we will open on June 7th. As a matter of fact, we want to get that in the beach
Is it open when?
June 7th.
June 7th.
You're sure?
Yeah, I talked to Scott about it, he said yes.
Okay.
First motion.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, actually, this is, I'm hoping to get some PR so that we get people.